There we go. Hi, this is Bruce Blue Sky Video. So I had to shake my guest up a little bit because he's in Las Vegas, and these hours. It's like only 9 o'clock in Las Vegas, and this guy's an entertainer and comedian, and he's not used to getting up before. Was it 10, 11 o'clock his time, which is like 2 o'clock in New York. So either way, so we're going to bring him on in a second. He just actually joined us in the backstage there. So I wanted to actually open up. Actually, I'll say that for later. I was going to add that to play before we started the show, but I will bring Scott in and get the show started. So this is gonna be really funny. This guy is a comedian. He's a sports guy. He's well known in Vegas, and he's well connected. At least not that way, but you know what I mean. So great. So hi, Scott. Bringing you on.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I don't know how to really deal with that intro. Well connected. Well, I'm from Chicago.
You are, I went to your
connected. Good morning, everybody.
Yeah. Morning. So
myself here, trying to frame up a good shot for you. There we go. Little Jim Morrison.
If I rearrange some of these screens, but either way. So yeah, I was pulling up some clips from the beginning. We first met in Chicago. It was I was doing a lot of videos for small businesses. Actually, we still are doing videos for small businesses, but the owner of the shop wasn't comfortable with my expertise, and so he figured he'd call you in to supervise, make sure I did a good job.
Yeah.
So basically,
you talk about who it was.
Yeah. So
my friend Howard from.
Yeah.
Want to buy a watch?
Howard is still around.
Thank goodness. Yeah, Howard's still around. Great guy. He's probably sold more Rolex watches than anybody in the city of Chicago.
Yep. So here's a little clip from that.
Okay.
Yeah, this only runs about a second, but this is his tagline.
Hey, want to buy a watch?
Yeah. So actually, I opened that up with my my demo reel.
You want to buy a watch? Yeah, that's Howard. Howard's doing great. I saw him about a year ago, and I think it's 5 South Wabash, the Waller Building. And if you want to really have fun, you go at Christmas time, and it's the best reality show you've ever seen, because you get the gangbangers in there that want to buy the huge watches, and then moms and dads. It's a reality show. It really is. Trying to myself up here.
Yeah, that entire building is interesting. I think we did another video for one of the ground floor operations, and McMahon. No, it wasn't McMahon. It was one of the bears came in to pick up his watch, and we just happened to be there shooting while he came in, so we grabbed him to get a testimonial, and so I started giving him some ideas on how to present, and he says, "Cool, it's Spielberg." So
he calls it Spielberg.
Yeah, right. Because I was giving him too much direction.
Too much. No such thing as too much direction. You can direct me on how my shot looks. trying to get this right here. So it looks just perfect, and not doing the best job at it. There we go.
If you woke up at 1 o'clock, it would be a lot easier to do this show.
You're right. It is very early for me here in Las Vegas. We went to dinner last night, which is probably like the 6th time in 3 months that we've gone out to a restaurant, and that's been in the last 2 weeks, really, because before that we hadn't gone. And the city really wants to get you guys to come back that don't live here in Las Vegas, and we went to a lobster boil, and it was $19 for a 1-pound lobster. With potatoes and corn on the cob for $19. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, not that I was alive in the 60s, but I remember Vegas in the 60s.
You were? Oh,
although I do remember, I think the first time I went to Vegas, I saw Wayne Newton. and
Yeah.
it was one of those. I mean, I think he did that number where he was like a male soprano for like years, and then he'd get like a really tight shot of him, and then he'd do a baritone, but it was actually a member of his band who was doing that.
Well, Wayne actually cut the ribbon, the red ribbon, to reopen Caesars on Thursday. And
Wow.
He's been riding his bike up and down Las Vegas Boulevard with his family while it was closed because there was no cars. It was kind of creepy and eerie, not Wayne riding, but just seeing Las Vegas Boulevard empty, just nothing, no people, no cars. It was really Twilight Zone. But we're back.
You're back. So you're opening.
Anyway, you
and
mentioned comedy, so I'd be remiss if I didn't start with a joke. So here you go. So this elderly man is in the hospital for corona. He's got the mask on and he's got the gloves on, and the bed sheets in the hospital are pulled up to his neck, and the nurse walks in and says, "So how are we today, Mr. Goldstein?" And he looks at her, and he's got the mask on. And he says, "Are my testicles black?" She goes, "Excuse me?" He goes, "Are my testicles black?" She pulls down the bed sheets and she jiggles his balls and says, "No, your testicles are fine." He takes away the mask. He says, No. I asked, "Are my test results back?" That's as dirty as I'm going to get with you. Anyway,
I think I should have warned people that this show was not going to be G-rated.
Well, I think testicles is fine.
There's something. Oh yeah. Speaking of that, you have a post on your Facebook page. Let me pull that up real quick. Here we go. Oops.
About my friend balls.
Yeah, it's about the bowling.
About what?
See if I can pull this up real quick. So here. So this is your.
Oh yeah. Don't touch other players' balls. Yeah. Don't touch other players' balls and wash your hands after touching your own balls. Words to live by for you bowlers out there, for you kegglers. Anyway, so what year do you think it was that we met with Howard from? Where's Howard from? FRUM.
It's got to be like 08 or 09. So it's been like 10, 11 years now. Well,
no, it had to be longer than that. Because I didn't live in Vegas then, and I've lived out here for 15 years.
Okay, so it's got to be what?
More than 15 years ago, yeah.
15.
But God bless Howard's a wonderful man, and if you're looking for a watch, 5 South Wabash. Howard from FRUM. Where's Howard from?
Yep.
So yeah, and then we did a couple of things together. You and I, we did a couple of shows together that you reminded me of, because this was my my Medicare birthday, my 65th birthday. So my memory is gone to pot, you might say.
It's legal in Vegas, isn't it? Legal here in Chicago.
We're meeting now.
Yeah. Yeah. So
what was the first show that we did together? Was the one in California?
The first show we did was the Windy City Memories.
Yeah, that was in LA.
Yeah, because right after we finished that Howard from shoot, you said, "I've got all this footage from this event I just held." It was basically you took all of the people who used to live in Chicago who now live in LA,
right? And
you threw together a nice little party for them. You brought in some pizza from Chicago. You brought in the hot dogs from Chicago.
Vienna hot dogs.
You brought the Vienna guy in from the new sales guy.
Yeah.
You connected with. You pulled all your friends in, all the people. So yeah, let me show this clip real quick, and then we'll talk about who you're still connected with. So this is the opening.
I think it was like 2003.
Yeah, we called Windy City Memories, and it actually aired here in Chicago. We actually got airtime for this show too. So
we actually syndicated on all of the NBC owned and operated stations. So it was a tribute to Koko Taylor, the Queen of the Blues. So we actually flew Koko, the late great Koko Taylor, out to LA.
So let me show. Actually, and she's in the intro too.
Look how dark right
Hello, everybody. I'm Jonathan Scott.
And I'm Patricia Kara, and we have lots of exciting stuff tonight from Koko Taylor, Mark DiCarlo, who else do we have tonight?
Jim Belushi, Joe Mantegna.
And hot dogs and Italian beef.
We invite you to celebrate with us as we celebrate Chicago food, music, culture, and the
spirit of Chicago.
So stay right where you are. We hope you have fun as we celebrate Chicago.
Come on. Come on, Koko.
Visit the old neighborhoods with our stars Jim Belushi, Shelley Berman, Mark DiCarlo, Tom Dreesen, Joe Mantegna, Joel Murray, Gail O'Grady, and our special guest of honor, the Queen of the Blues, Miss Koko Taylor, at a celebration of Chicago culture, music, and food, all on Windy City Memories.
So it was a lot of fun. Yes, so basically, you had all this footage, all these interviews, and you asked me to put it together. You said, "What can you do?"
So you didn't shoot it for me?
What I did was we had all that footage from LA and nothing from Chicago. So I went around Chicago, and when they started talking about the West Side and the different areas, the ballpark, and the carriage rides, I actually went out and shot that footage for B-roll, which I think
I don't remember who my shooter was when we were out there, but it was a great show. Yeah, we had Mark DiCarlo's band was backing up Koko Taylor, and it was kind of a tribute for all the Chicago expatriates that moved to LA. My great friend Joe Mantegna was there, and I'm not sure if Dennis Franz was there. Dennis Farina, the two Dennises.
I don't think
Bobby Hunt was there.
Yeah, the couple of Murray brothers.
Yeah, Johnny and Joel Murray. My friends Johnny and Joel Murray were there from Second City. Tommy Dreesen was there. All the expats, ex-Chicagoans that lived in LA came. And we flew out Vienna hot dogs, and we had Jim Beam there to add for the libations. And it was at the Peterson Auto Museum in LA, which was a very cool background. And it was just a big cocktail party. And Jim Belushi, of course, was there, and he presented the award to Koko Taylor. And it actually was the last time that Koko Taylor appeared on video. Was at our show, and Koko was just great. And I tell the story. My friend Mark Wilhelms was with me when we had the meeting with Koko to talk about the show. And Koko had a blues restaurant in I think it was in Gary, Indiana, at one of the casino boats. And we're having dinner and drinks with Koko, and she took her teeth out, and she was cleaning her teeth on the tablecloth, and Willie, his elbow, would say, Johnny, look at Koko. She was cleaning her teeth, on the tablecloth. But she was, well into her 80s at that point. But that was a fun show to produce, and my friend Dan Zifkin co-produced the show with me, and it was just a great night. It was just a great, I still talk to most of the people, every once in a while. Of course, I talk to Joe Mantegna pretty frequently. He's just finished a 12-year run on Criminal Minds, and God knows what he's going to be doing next. I think now he's retiring at his beach house in Santa Barbara.
There you go.
But nobody can go out anyway. So
I'll ask you who you still keep in touch with. I saw the one post the other day with all your comedian friends. And Top and those guys. So do you guys still hang out in the bathrooms, in the women's bathroom?
I think you're referring to I did actually a 10-month run, and this was really stupid. We've had Vegas Nonstop format for 10 years now with my co-host Jeffrey with a G, Line 1. We're on Fridays at noon on NBC Sports Radio 920 AM Las Vegas, but also on our website Vegas Nonstop and .com and Vegas Nonstop on iHeartRadio and Apple Podcasts. But I met a guy named P. Moss, who's one of the most interesting fellows I've ever met, who has a bar called the Double Down Saloon, and there's one in New York and there's one here in Las Vegas. And he said, Johnny, why don't you do your podcast from the Double Down Saloon? And so I said, okay, well, we'll give it a try. Fridays at noon. It's F off Friday. And I called my friend Jason Ebbs, who's just a great guitar player, and he great guy altogether. But he's also a coach for Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp. And I said, Jake, you want to do a live podcast from the Double Down Saloon, which it's a dive bar. It's a total dive bar. So Jason brings his guitar, and we get to the Double Down Saloon, and I said to P. Moss, I said, there's only two things that I ever ask. They have to be able to hear me, and they have to be able to see me. I need lights, I need sound. He said, yeah, available light, come on down. So we get there, and available light was the cigarette machine in the bar. That was the only available light. So I looked in the ladies' room, which was a pretty, good-sized ladies' room, and that had the only light in the place. So I said, Jay, let's, we promised the show. Let's do it from the ladies' room at the Double Down Saloon. So when people started loving it, it was filled with graffiti. It was like an LA rock club. And we did 10 months, and people loved going, and I would go, live from the world famous Double Down Saloon at the corner of Walk and Don't Walk. It's Vegas nonstop. And they've got this crazy drink there called ass juice. And nobody knew what it really was. It was the vodka and everything else. And so we would start drinking at 12 noon, and I wish I had one. I have them in the other room, little shot glasses that were little toilets, which was appropriate because we were going live from the ladies' room at the world famous Double Down Saloon. And we would pack the ladies' room with guests. We would have like 10 people in this small ladies' room. And musicians know that the acoustics are, and even Paul McCartney, the acoustics are always great in the restroom. And most performers or singers particularly love the acoustics in bathrooms. So we did 10 months of every Friday, and the drunks would come wandering in, and we had a tape face and just so many comedians. We had our Italian operatic performer, Giada Valente, who was a very classy kind of lady, come in the evening gown in the ladies' room at the world famous Double Down Saloon. So we did that for 10 months, and Jason, I thank everybody for putting up for live from the ladies' room. But it was a joke that they were starting to call it the Jonathan Scott Theater, which they were going to put a brass plaque up that was my theater in the ladies' room. And the women, of course, had to use the men's room while we were doing the show. Oh, did we lose? Oh, there you go.
I just pulled up the shot there.
Yeah. We had regulars like Enoch Augustus Scott from the Zombie Burlesque, who was a semi-regular. Jimmy Denning from Tenors of Rock. And, gosh.
And the Jonathan Scott Dancers. Now, here he is, the star of the show, Jonathan Scott. Yeah!
Look at you already.
I think
you were surprised little bonus clips.
Yep.
Yeah, we did 10 months of that, and it was hot in the summer. It was really hot in the summer because they also didn't have much air conditioning at the Double Down Saloon. So we would bring a fan in. We had amplifiers in there. We had Vinny from Bronx Wanderers would come in, and people were just like shocked when they would walk in to see you're really doing the show from the ladies' room. Yeah, we really were. We were taping the camera onto that back green wall. We would tape the camera up there, and we would go live. But again, and I say this in my recent new life as a educator, teaching broadcasting to high school kids, that it's all about the content. It really, if you've got good content, you'll get an audience, and it's really about the audience. It's not about you, and it's not about me. It's about your audience. So we would have a ball. We would do an hour, and we'd just, joke around and play some songs, and somebody would say something that would trigger a song, and we had Billy Hinchy from the Beach Boys. It's just a crazy list, and everybody loved doing, live from the ladies' room. It was kind of a kick thing. So that was where my career, I think, was probably, I don't know if it was a high or a low, but I was broadcasting live from the ladies' room at the world famous Double Down Saloon. That's enough plugs for the Double Down Saloon.
Yeah, and so, I see you said you're calming down. You're actually teaching. You're working with students these days. How that come up?
It came up because I've been working with the NBA Summer League here in Las Vegas for 5 years now. And I really was just helping out wrangling talent. My friend Clint Holmes and I started going to the opening game of the Summer League about 5 years ago. and Clint would either do the ball tip or do America the Beautiful or something to really start the first games off. And NBA Summer League grew to last year. There was over 150,000 guests coming to Summer League, and Carol Hattar, who is one of the founders and orchestrators, if you will, producers of NBA Summer League, started something called the Tomorrow Stars Foundation, and asked me if I would consider teaching broadcasting, because I've been doing it for 40 years. In 2016, I was inducted into the Nevada Broadcasters Hall of Fame, and really I just say stupid shit on the radio. I mean, I just have fun and make people laugh, and that's my job. And I promote, our great city, and I do something called an Around Town show. I talk about what's going on, shows, events, restaurant deals. I'm like the restaurant deal guy because I love to eat. I especially love to eat on the air. But over the 40 years, when you start trying to teach other people, you realize that you know more than you thought you knew. And one of the things that I start with, and so they asked me to teach broadcasting at Desert Pines High School here in Las Vegas. And there was, I want to say about 30 kids in the class that were already taking broadcasting. So I would start by saying, how many of you want to be on camera or want to be behind the microphone? Knowing full well, it was all of them. They all want to be in front of the camera, and they all want to be behind the microphone. They all think they have something to say. So I would start by saying there's 100,000 different choices right now that you can watch television, you can turn on the radio, you can listen to a podcast, everybody's going up and down and sideways on their telephone. So what are you going to say that's going to be so engaging and so compelling that you're going to keep an audience for longer than 3 seconds? Because everybody has ADD now. If you don't get them right away, they're gone. And then I would take the kids over to the radio station at Lotus Broadcasting, and I put them right on the air. I'd say, okay, now you're on. So what do you want to talk about? And they would go, humana, Ed Norton, and I would tell them, it's not about me and it's not about you. It's about your audience. What are you going to say, and what are you going to do that's going to be engaging enough to keep an audience? I don't care what kind of camera you have. I don't care what kind of technical stuff. If you can get your message out, and everybody that has a smartphone, which is pretty much everybody, has the ability now to be a broadcaster. So then we would take them to NBA Summer League and have them call the games, do play-by-play and color commentary, and I would put them in teams of 3, and they did. And the cream always rises to the top. So one of the kids particularly did his homework. He knew the players. He knew who was coming out. And I mean, this is the real deal. NBA Summer League, we had Zion Williamson in the very first game last season. And that was very memorable because that was the day that we had the earthquake in Las Vegas, and they couldn't play the second half of the game because the scoreboard was shaking. I mean, it was a real, 6-point-something earthquake. But the kids did great, and they came to do the work. And one gal in particular was very, very afraid of being on camera. And I said to her, I'm going to teach you something called a gun and run. And that's where the camera is following you while you're talking. And I want you to interview the hot dog vendor. And there was a woman that was a hot dog vendor. I said, I want you to eat a hot dog on camera. So she took the challenge, she did it, and she came up to me and she said, Mr. Scott, that was so much fun. I love broadcasting now. So, little things like that that I can share. We were supposed to do Southwest Technical Academy High School this season, but what happened. So, but we're pursuing it. It's a great challenge, and we're doing it here in Nevada first, and we hope to roll it out nationally. It's through the Tomorrow Stars Foundation. The program is called On Air Classroom. They made me the director of an educational program, and it's a lot of fun, and it's great. But even when I lived in Chicago and I lived in Glen Ellen, Illinois, I would do a local origination, and I would have kids come in and learn how to work camera, and some of them went on to have careers at CBS, and it was rewarding then. And I always did that. I've always been on the air. Maybe I miss a week or two, like recently, but for the most part, I've been on the air for 40 years now. And lately, the last 3 months or so, the only broadcasting that I've really done has been socially relevant, socially responsible programming. Last Friday, we fed the firefighters at a restaurant called the Great American Pub. My great friend Gary Wilkos has a company called Microphone Defenses NV, which goes the next step in protection of businesses or residences with a spray. So after your business or residence is clean, they come in with a spray and they put a coating on that goes to surfaces and fabrics and puts one more layer of protection on against bacteria. So they picked up the tab, and we had the firefighters come in. We had my headliner friend Frankie Scintas co-host it with me, and Frankie's father and uncles were all firefighters. So that was a great day. We took Microgerm out and we went to the Boys and Girls Clubs of Nevada, and we sprayed their stuff so the kids could come back and use the facility over there. We've brought water to the Veterans Village here in Las Vegas to make sure that our veterans are taken care of. So the last 3 months, we've really done socially responsible kinds of things. The studio's been closed to guests, so I haven't even been able to go into the radio station to bring a guest in because it was just me and the board operator. And I think, I'm not sure, but I think we're going to be allowed back in with one guest this Friday. And again, the show's called Vegas Nonstop, and we have fun. You know, it's a fun. My co-host Jeffrey with a G calls it a goat rodeo because we're all over the place. You know, we start talking about sports, and you know, there hasn't been any sports, there hasn't been any shows, there hasn't been any restaurants, so there really hasn't been much to talk about outside of pandemic and what's been going on, and it's not really what we do. Right. You know, we have fun, and that's the tone of our show.
I think even the people watching now will break the news. So again, you just mentioned Frankie Scintas. So we put together a few years back called Las Vegas Makes Me Laugh, and this is one of the jokes that I use all the time about my trip to Vegas, which is so actually there's a joke in there that I really love.
I've been thinking about it. You know, the smoking thing can't smoke. Well, this guy's dressed to the nose with his girlfriend. There's no smoking right there. And this, and he's walking with her. He puts a cigarette in his mouth and right into the sign. It's all crinkled up, and I died.
He hit the no smoking sign.
He walked right into the no smoking. No smoking.
Perfect.
And then there's another one. I came to work one night. There's this guy out in front. He said, "Buddy, I'm down on my luck. My family's hungry. I haven't worked for a month. Could you help me out with $20? I said, "You're going to turn right around and go in that casino and gamble it away." He said, "No, I have gambling money."
And Las Vegas makes me laugh.
Yeah,
What makes you laugh in Las Vegas?
that's one of my favorite jokes.
I think. Am I still on? I don't know if I went.
I think it was audio feedback. You get your audio up?
I don't know what I did. I think I'm on the right thing here.
Still there. I can still see you. Yes.
But I'm loud.
Hello.
Yeah, am I loud or?
No, you're fine.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. God bless Joey Scintas. We lost him a couple of years ago. But I still, every time I talk about Joey Scintas, I talk about that joke that he told me about. You have $20 so I can eat. You have some money so I can. He says, "I know you're just going to use it on gambling." He said, "No. I have gambling money." But that was probably 15 years ago that we did Las Vegas Makes Me Laugh, because you see sillier shit here on Las Vegas Boulevard than you'll see anywhere. I mean, crazy stuff. Especially if you go down to Fremont Street, you know, the old Vegas, you'll see some really crazy people walking around almost naked, and anything you can imagine. You know, they'll insult you for $1 or they'll do anything. It's you know, it's a freak show, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. And that's what I'm saying. We have to bring fun back to Las Vegas. So.
Yeah, because last year I was in Vegas for the National Association of Broadcasters Convention, and we actually had a meetup in some area of town that they had converted some box cars into a mall, and it has a giant mantis out in front. Are you familiar with that at all? Either way,
Oh, I don't know.
Either way, so you walk up to Fremont Street, and looking at the people doing this trip on the spin lining.
Oh, the zip line.
Zip line.
Yeah, the zip line goes all the way across the Fremont Street experience. But Fremont Street is actually going further east now to like 11th Street. And there's some great little boutique restaurants and clubs that are, it's just a lot of fun. And you can walk around, unlike, if you walk from, the Mirage to even Treasure Island, you're gonna, when it's 110 degrees outside, you're gonna be exhausted by the time you get to the next hotel casino.
Yeah,
but they've all done away with the parking now, so no more parking fee. Hopefully they'll get away with the, drop the resort fee, which everybody knows is just a gouge. The Wynn Resort is offering $200 a night for a room at the Wynn for 2 nights, and you get $150 in dining credit. So they're all offering deals right now. So if you want to come and have a few days in Vegas, you can get some really amazing deals right now.
And so you're still on Fridays, right?
Yeah, we go live on social media Fridays at 12 noon, and you can watch it either on Facebook on my Jonathan Scott LV for Las Vegas page, just the way it's spelled right there, JONATHAN Scott LV. Also on our website at vegasnonstop.com, and it goes out on the radio here in Las Vegas on Saturday morning at 8 a.m. And we talk sports, and we talk shows and restaurants and fun, and we've got some amazing guests. And comedian George Wallace is on quite a bit. You referenced the Comics Lunch, which we love to eat, and we'll usually do the show, and then we'll go have a sandwich or something after. And George is just hilarious. He's a semi-regular guest on, at least once a month. George comes on, but he hasn't been back in town because there's no shows right now. He's in Atlanta with his family. But we always have comedians on, and we always have headliners on, and we do everything we can to promote this great city of Las Vegas, which is it's America's adult playground. So we want you to all come back if you're not here already, and give us a visit. There's some amazing deals. Spirit Airlines, somebody said to me you can fly Spirit, but they're charging for talking now. I used to say they charge you for the air, but now they're charging you for talking. Anyway, I love what you're doing, and I love that you're doing videos for business, and it's a great way to communicate, especially on Facebook and social media. It's reasonable where pretty much anybody can advertise their business, and you do great work. So I'm thrilled that we could do this, and we can reconnect, and that you're broadcasting, and you're doing what you do, and you're still in business, you and your wife, and it's fabulous.
Yep.
So I appreciate this.
We've been trying to face for about 10 years. He's like, okay, let's meet in an hour. Okay. And then so at least it's good to be meeting virtually.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate this tonight. Anything else you want to know about me, Las Vegas? Anything? Did we cover it?
Yeah, I think we've done our half hour.
We've done a little more than a half hour.
More than a half hour. Yep. 34 minutes. So,
yeah.
So we're not broadcast TV, so we're not cut off at 29 minutes and 29 seconds. We can go as long as we need to, and I think we that's all we need to go.
Well, I thank you, Bruce, and as I always say when I sign off to everybody, be nice to each other, eat well, and party hard, my friends.
Excellent. Well, thank you for being on.
Thanks, Bruce.
Thanks, and thank you all for joining us. Please share this out, subscribe, and follow us on BSVPTV, and check out Jonathan at Jonathan.com or Scott.
There you go.
Perfect.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.